An overbearing mother-in-law keeps interfering in our life and our child's life.
Maybe the longest rant about a mother-in-law to ever exist. Let me start by saying this is my first Reddit post, and I've been meaning to write it for a long time. I'd apologize for the length, but honestly, I don't care. I'm not really looking for advice. I just need a place to vent. I'm 25, female. I've been married to my husband, who's 26, for 1 year. We've been together since 2020. In the beginning, my relationship with my now mother-in-law, who's 52, was fine. Nothing special, but she was mostly kind and welcoming. That said, she had this habit of oversharing. My husband has always been very blunt. He doesn't sugarcoat things, and he's not afraid to call his mom out when she crosses a line. Is he always nice about it? Not really, but at least he says something. Me? I tend to brush things off in the moment and then stew about them later. I'm trying to be a bit more like him these days. So anyway, here's the long, frustrating story that's been building up for the past 3 years. I'll probably miss a few things, but there's a lot to cover. Buckle up. Part 1. Wedding planning. Things started to shift after we got engaged. Every time I said how much I love my husband, my mother-in-law would jump in with something like, "No one will ever love him as much as his mother. A mother's love is stronger than anything." She constantly repeated lines like, "You'll understand when you have a child," or "I know you love him, but..." It was weird and completely unnecessary. Still, I wanted her to feel included in the wedding planning. I invited her to go wedding dress shopping with me and my mom. She didn't say much while I tried dresses on, just a few oohs and ahs. But in every single photo, she looked totally unenthusiastic, not one smile, just annoyed expressions. The only thing she could help with financially was the rehearsal dinner, and I appreciated that. We were paying for 99% of the wedding ourselves anyway. She always said she wanted to help with DIY projects. Flowers, decorations, invites, you name it. So I made a plan and sent out weekend dates to her and my mom. My mom, who lives 3 hours away, came almost every weekend. My mother-in-law, who's just an hour away, she never showed up once. She'd always say, "Let me know when you need help." But when I did, she'd either ignore the message or say she was busy. And whenever anything wedding-related came up, she'd immediately launch into, "Well, when I got married?" Like, cool, but you're not married anymore. This is our wedding. As the day got closer, she offered to stay at our house during the honeymoon to watch our pets, which was actually helpful. She asked when she should come help decorate, and I told her Friday was our setup day. My mom and sisters were coming Thursday night to start early Friday, but my MIL insisted on coming Wednesday, even though I told her we couldn't get into the venue until Thursday, and I had appointments on Wednesday. She showed up anyway, Wednesday morning, and expected to stay at our house. I didn't fight it, especially since I'd be at a hotel the night before the wedding, but still, the boundary pushing was frustrating. The day before the wedding, I wrote a heartfelt letter for my husband and copied our vows onto pretty paper I'd bought just for that. My husband did the same. Turns out, my mother-in-law decided she wanted to write him a letter too, and she went through our wedding supplies to find and use the exact same paper we used for our vows. I didn't find this out until after the wedding. Decorating the venue was a nightmare. I'm extremely organized. I had binders with detailed plans and diagrams. While I stepped out to grab lunch, my mother-in-law took it upon herself to start changing things. My sisters, who were following the plan, were livid. She kept rearranging everything my sister had set up. And my sister works at a floral shop and has decorated tons of events. We fixed most of it, but by that point I was so overwhelmed, I just let it go. The rehearsal itself went fine. Afterward, everyone hung out and had a few drinks. My mother-in-law and my husband went back to our house, and I stayed at the hotel with my bridal party. Part 2. The wedding day. Despite everything, my wedding day was perfect. We had a private vow reading before the ceremony, just the two of us, with our photographer capturing the moment. It was beautiful. What I didn't know was that, right after I left for hair and makeup, my meal asked our photographer to take pictures of her, giving her letter to my husband, and of him reading it. I only found out about this when we got the photos back. And also, in every single photo of the bridal suite, she had her vape out. Awesome. As far as I know, the ceremony and reception went well. If there was any drama, I was blissfully unaware. Part 3. The honeymoon. We spent the night after our wedding at a hotel. My mother-in-law stayed at our house. We cleaned up the venue the next morning, then went home expecting to relax. Well, turns out my MEL decided to stay from Wednesday through the entire wedding weekend, through taking us to the airport on Monday morning and all the way until the following Sunday, when we came back from our honeymoon. She never told us this. She just stayed. I didn't want to kick her out, but I definitely should have said something. I mean, who stays with a newlywed couple the day after their wedding? Book yourself a hotel. Anyway, our honeymoon was amazing. She called my husband once while we were there, but I was asleep after way too many margaritas by the pool, so whatever. I honestly didn't care. Part 4, Pregnancy. I won't go into every single detail because some of it might have been hormone-fueled rage, but my mother-in-law drove me absolutely insane during my pregnancy. We found out we were expecting shortly after the wedding and announced the news to our families at about 10 weeks. Everyone was excited. But my mother-in-law never once asked how I was doing. Not once. She was cold, dismissive, and often flat-out rude. She'd interrupt me, ignore me, or try to one-up me with, well, when I was pregnant, it always had to circle back to her. From the very start, we told both moms we wanted the delivery room to be just us. No visitors at the hospital. We wanted quiet time to bond and soak it all in. My mom totally understood. My mill didn't say much, but the vibe was very clearly not happy. Later, she mentioned how her own mom stayed with her for a week after her son was born, helping around the house and snuggling the baby so she could rest. Then she offered to do the same for me. I politely declined, thanked her for the gesture, but said that wasn't what I wanted. If anyone did that, I'd prefer my own mom. She brought it up 3 more times. By the last time, I wasn't so nice. I reminded her that I had already said no, and if I changed my mind, I'd let her know. But my answer was still no. Then there was the constant belly touching. At first, I didn't mind. But then it was all the time. I probably should have said something, but I didn't. It really did seem innocent. I think she was just excited. My husband and I had decided to keep the baby's gender a surprise. Not just from others, but from ourselves, too. Neither side of the family said anything negative. They just kept saying they couldn't wait to find out if it was a boy or a girl. But my mother-in-law asked me once if I had a preference. I told her I didn't care, as long as the baby was healthy. Her response? Even though I love my daughter, there's just something special about a mother's love for her son. Gross. She's always been obsessed with a mother's love. This, a mother's love that, and a mother's love this. I've heard it from her for years, even before I was pregnant. Part of me hoped the baby would be a girl out of spite, but another part secretly wished for a boy, just to prove you can be a boy mom without being like her. She has a daughter, but still gives off the worst boy mom vibes, the kind that make you cringe. The tension really peaked in my 3rd trimester. I told everyone we would not be traveling anywhere for Christmas, since I could go into labor anytime during the holidays. I brought this up back in October, plenty of notice for everyone to adjust their plans. My parents totally understood. They even suggested we combine Thanksgiving and Christmas early, so we could still be included in gift exchanges and festivities. I thought that was a great idea and suggested it to my MIL. But she didn't get why it was such a big deal for us not to drive over an hour, closer to an hour and a half from our hospital, to her house. Yeah, no. There was no way my 9 months pregnant self was doing that. I could barely handle the 20-minute drive to work without almost peeing myself. After some pushback, I offered a compromise. We could do Christmas on Christmas Day, but only if, 1, it was at our house so we'd be close to the hospital, and 2, it would not be an all-day event, either lunch or dinner, but not both. Thankfully, Christmas came and went without issues, and the baby was still happily baking. Part 5, Baby is here. We welcomed our baby boy, and it was the best day of my life. Labor was long and hard, but absolutely worth it. He is the best thing that has ever happened to me, and now I finally know what a mother's love really means. Do I love him more because he's a boy? Number. Would I have loved a girl any less? Absolutely not. We told both families what time we'd be discharged and when we'd be home so they could come meet the baby. My husband and I had just gotten home when, no joke, his mom showed up less than 15 minutes later. I had just changed clothes and sat down when she walked in. I mean, yes, we told them they could come once we were home. I just didn't expect her to take it that literally. My parents came later. Honestly, it was a bit overwhelming having everyone there right away, but it's what we told them. Next time, I think I'll have everyone visit at the hospital and then not come over for at least 2 weeks. Lesson learned. To my surprise, once the baby arrived, my mother-in-law was actually great. Seriously helpful. She'd wash dishes or throw in a load of laundry when she came over. She didn't immediately ask to hold the baby. She waited until I offered. She didn't say anything about our no kissing rule. It was honestly kind of amazing. I thought, maybe it really was just pregnancy hormones making my skin crawl around her for the last 9 months. Well, that lasted until about 3 weeks ago. We were all together for dinner. Everything was normal. Until it wasn't. She was holding the baby, and I looked over to see her sticking her fingernail up his nose, trying to fish out a booger. She has acrylics that are like an inch long. There is no way they're clean. Who does that? I literally gasped and said, if he has a booger, I'll get it. I don't want someone else picking his nose. She laughed it off. I know she didn't mean harm, but come on. We have a no kissing rule for a reason. So, why would you think it's okay to stick your crusty acrylic in his nose? My husband was asleep on the couch. It was his first time drinking since the baby was born, and those drinks hit him hard. LOL. Then, later that night, she was talking to the baby and said the line that still makes my skin crawl. Oh, mommy loves you. I mean, grandma? And she didn't say it once. She said it 3 freaking times. There's no way it was just a slip up. It sounded rehearsed. Nope, 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 nope. I told my husband the next day, and he was livid. He wanted to confront her, but I told him to let it go. I regret that. Last time she visited, I excitedly showed her the Easter basket I put together for the baby. Since he's still little, it was mostly a few baby-friendly items and some treats for my husband. I told her how excited I was to surprise them both Easter morning and how I had planned to get up early and do the whole "the Easter bunny came" thing. She said it was sweet and how special all the firsts are. Then Easter weekend came. It was also our anniversary, and we hadn't gone out alone since the baby was born. We asked her if she could babysit for a few hours so we could go to dinner. She said yes, and then randomly asked if she could stay the night, which was weird because it was our anniversary, and she only lives an hour away. We said no, and she seemed fine with it. Saturday rolls around, and she shows up with an Easter basket for the baby. She announces it's his first Easter basket. You. Kidding. Me? This was the day before Easter, so my husband had no idea about the basket I had made. I ran out of the living room and nearly cried. I was finishing getting ready for our date and trying to calm down. My husband could tell I was upset, but I blamed it on anxiety about leaving the baby. I wish I had told him. He would have said something. Her basket ruined the excitement I had built up for my Easter plan. I didn't even bother to get up early to do it. Later that morning, I pulled my basket out from the spare room and told my husband what I had planned and how his mom had taken that away from me. He was not happy. We both agreed we need to draw some hard boundaries now. Like, we literally have to spell out that she can't do Santa gifts. It should be obvious. But clearly it's not. So, yeah, I guess that's the last time I share any kind of surprise with my mill. From now on, it's need to know only, bare minimum contact. Oh, and she's now started saying that a grandmother's love is even deeper than a mother's love. Excuse me? And she's called my son the missing piece of her heart and world. Puke. Lady, just admit you need to feel like you're more important than me. Anyway, if you made it to the end, applause. You deserve it.
So, how about you? What do you think about this story? What advice would you give to the heroine? Write your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for the next story. See you soon.